I have a confession.
Yes.
So I texted Cybil the other night and I was like, hey, Cybil, if there's like skin peeling on both of my feet, does this mean I have athlete's foot? And you did not even hesitate to respond back, yes. And I was like, shit, I have athlete's foot, which is also, I feel like, really rude because I've literally gone nowhere but my own home. So then you said I needed boric acid. And as I was doing this next thing that I'm just about to confess to you about, I was just like, oh, I can't wait to tell Cybil. This is going to be a great confession. So I went on Target and I looked for some boric acid stuff, and they didn't really have a lot of options other than something called the honey pot, which you may have heard of because it's all like vaginal care. So they had a boric acid suppository, and I melted it in hot water, and put my feet in the hot water, and it's like 98% cleared up. So
all right, we'll keep going. So remember that the thing about foot fungus is that it's deep in the skin, and you've got to do it for 2 weeks. So like 1 to 2 weeks.
No, I did it once and that's not enough. But I was just like, oh, now I'm standing in a bucket with my feet in melted.
I bet they're soft and lovely. But they're because the suppositories have lots of other things in them. So, but there's
it was like coconut oil and some other stuff. It's fine. Well, that's the whole thing about honey pot is it's all like organic and herbs and none of the chemicals and natural shit.
Beautiful. Yeah. And for all those Esties out there who are baby Esties, or maybe you have not studied fungus, boric acid is your best friend, and you can just stick it in some water and it's going to be fine too.
Yeah. Super hot. It was melty. It's great. It was great. And these are the things that I can only tell you guys, okay? Nobody else can know. Like, I barely even told my husband because I was just like, I'm standing in a bucket in my back.
I do remember I did try to throw some shade at Anthony too.
Yeah, I know. Well, he's like, you're wearing socks, right? I'm like, yes, I'm always wearing socks around the house.
Skinfessional is the best today. We're having such a good time. All right, guys, let's get started. Hi, I'm Cybil Solon. I'm an esthetician and spa owner.
And hi, I'm Alex Ellis. I'm a body nerd and wellness expert, and we are business besties.
And bosses, running your own business, it's hard.
But we're terrible employees, so we're figuring it out.
I've already figured it out, but we promise to share everything we know about what it takes to make 6 figures and beyond.
And be brutally honest about what works and what totally sucks.
I'll be honest, a bunch of it totally sucks, but let's get started.
Welcome back to today's episode of Skinfessional. Today, we are talking about changing up your menu without getting broken. From what I hear, it's a very difficult and challenging process, and we want it to be as seamless as possible for you. So we're talking naming, we're talking pricing, we're talking pitching, and everything menus.
And I'm going to remind everyone that your menu is about making money. That is the bottom line.
Yes, we are here to make money. Please. Actually, I do want to just one little thing about money because I had to like remind myself of, sometimes we have these like big epiphanies. And you're like, oh my God, like this is the key to eternal happiness. And then you forget about it like 2 weeks later. And then you're like, I'm so depressed again. So I was in that phase right there. Oh my gosh, let there be light.
My power finally came onto that switch. We have an electrician doing some business.
Oh, good. But speaking of money, wanting to make money, I was trying to tie my success and happiness to the amount of money I'm making. And that is a surefire way to be forever unsatisfied. And
yes.
And I was just like thinking about it. Like, well, what does success mean to me? What is success? What do I feel like when I feel the most successful? And it's been written on my whiteboard in my garage for probably a month now. As long as I'm having fun, I'm doing it right. Yeah. I was like, oh, right. I forgot about that. So I encourage you. Yes, we're talking about making money. Yes, we're talking about all of this. But remember, you are not your business in the sense that if your business fails, like you are not a failure. And making more money is awesome and great. And we can do amazing things with it and change the world and change our families and change all of that. But don't make your success that. Like, find your happiness elsewhere. Signed, sincerely, someone who reminded herself of that this week and is feeling way better.
That is always important to know, though I will straight up say that for someone who is out there who's just is like, I am driven right now to be making that money and I want to be successful. Hey, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alex is saying do those things.
Yes.
But just remember that if you have those days where like it's shit,
yes,
it's okay.
Yes.
It's okay. You're still awesome.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
Yes. Yeah, no,
because
still make the money.
sometimes it's hard. It's hard sometimes when you're having those shit days to hear somebody be like, no, but you're still great. And you're like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
You know what's interesting? I feel like the universe always has your back when you get into like that right energy state. And for me, it's about being in that place where I can be receptive. Is I got an email from someone I'd collaborated with, and he's like, hey, I owe you $72. And it's like, okay, cool. It's $72. But I was like, oh shoot. Yeah. So, money is coming my way, and I didn't have to go out and be desperate and just like freak out about it. It's like, let me get clear here. So I'm in the right headspace to be able to think creatively and do what I need to do.
It's 100% true. And guys, we have a whole episode about being grateful and having creating that gratitude practice because it makes a huge difference. But we're going to get about spa menus because spa menus, and speaking of gratitude, you're going to need it because spa menus, they can break you. They are wily little devils, guys. And you think, it's going to be so easy. It's going to be great. I love doing my spa menu. And then you like get into the heart of it and you start like having mini breakdowns and crying. And you're like, I don't understand why this is so hard. And it's okay. If you've stressed about your menu, you are not alone. I've made mine many times. And I've pretty much come up with the idea that, menus. I'm like, whatever. It just doesn't matter. People want to see your menu. I'm like, whatever. I do what I want. And it doesn't even matter what I call things. Mm-hmm. There you go. Right.
Well, it's so interesting too, because I think of like my product suite, so to speak. Right. And I'm doing everything I can to like simplify it and keep it the same to like build up that, name awareness of it. But it's different online because I'm talking about name awareness for people who don't know me, who aren't customers.
Right.
But for the people on the inside who are already your customers, we're constantly evolving and adapting to make sure that it's meeting exactly what they need so that they don't reach a point where they're like, well, I don't really need anything anymore, and then move on.
Right. I want to remind every single person who's listening that most of your clients have no idea what you do when you're on that bed. So I want you, when you're thinking about your menu, to remember the fact that 1, your clients have no clue what you're doing on that bed. 2, they're coming for you.
Yes.
Right. If they've seen you beyond 3 visits, they're coming partially for you. Yeah, you have bells and whistles and you get them results, whatever, but there's a part of them that comes for you. So unless you have a menu item that says, I'm extraordinary at what I do, that's not on your menu. And that's what they're coming for. Okay. And the third one is that it has to be simple. And Alex said this literally as we started. She goes, keep it simple. Simplicity is key. Yeah.
And clarity for sure.
Yeah. Because if it gets complicated, people don't know what you do. They have no clue.
No. Well, and the story I told was I'm getting my annual haircut and I have just discovered the whole world of like hair stylists specializing in curly hair. And I found a stylist in a salon and I look at her menu and she has like the regular haircut. And I'm like, no, I don't need a regular haircut. But then there was like 3 different types of curly haircuts and I don't know her. I don't know what I need. And now I'm confused and I'm going to go to the person who just has like the one offer and that really great before and afters. I'm like, okay, they're going to help.
Right, you're like, I have curly hair. Click the box. I need that person. Now she'd been like, oh, you have white curly hair. You're like, also me.
Right. But it was just like curly hair. And I think also, the simplicity is narrowing it down to like exactly what that person wants, right? If there was like one curly haircut, and even if that one curly haircut had a price range, I would have been totally fine with that. But the 3 different prices and 3 different offers was where I got confused, and confusion does not complete a sale.
100%. And guys, so we're going to talk about mostly facial spa menus, but most confusing of all spa menus are actually hair removal spa menus. When it get confusing, let's get into like the sliding scale range of a Brazilian manzilian, right? Like what is included in something. Yes. And we're not even going to go there on this episode, but like,
I'm like, whoa.
But for reals, guys, you know what I'm talking about. And I, for many years for like hair removal, charged per minute and was just like, it's per minute. And that's just how it is. And I'll just do whatever you want per minute. And if you bitch and moan, I charge you more money. And if you try to, right. And if you call me names, I charge more money. And that's just how it is. Right. But then there are other complications. Right. There are other complications that arose with that. Like that. People like, well, I'm like, no, Brazilian area is more money because that's a whole different sliding scale amount of money. Like, so we'll get into that maybe another episode. But this is mostly for your spa menu for like facials and stuff. Okay. Because let's start with naming. All right. So Alex has a really good kind of idea for naming structures about clarity.
Yeah.
So talk to me just about yours, because it still applies to what we do. How do you kind of name your stuff? How do you go about that?
Well, I mean, let's just start with my Instagram handle. Okay. So my first business, because that's like the first naming structure you really come up with, right? Is your business name. And it was something that made me smile and laugh. And I was like, this is hilarious. Holla for some mala. I misspelled it about every third time I went to type it in to go to my own damn website. So that's a problem. If it's like not really clear and easy to understand, inside jokes are like nice, but like clarity over cleverness is going to win out every single time. Yeah. So how I infuse personality into naming, and naming is hard. I get that. It takes a long time to come up with, the words that really exemplify and like embody what it is that you do. So I have now, I riff on a lot of the things to like just kind of lean into my IP, right? The stuff I've created, that intellectual property. So there's a lot of naming around body nerd, body detective. There's also a lot with the word amplify, because I like to.
Alex works with bodies. Okay.
Oh yeah. I want to help people amplify what they're doing and make it even more effective. So, the Amplify Hips Challenge, the Amplify You Plan, the Amplify Your Wellness, just like different ways of playing on the same words. And with your spa menu, because I know you have been trademarking some spa menu stuff. So obviously don't go and just like rip off somebody else's name, because they can give you a cease and desist. And that's like really not fun. So do your due diligence. But I think, something that brings in a little bit of personality, a little bit of creativity, but then is also super clear. So back to like the challenge, for example, right? Amplify Hips Challenge. It's about your hips and it's about a challenge. That first part is like, it's cool, it's cute. Oh, amplify. Oh, it's getting bigger. Like, oh, what's happening? So in bringing in some curiosity, but it's not like the amplify your emotional center 5-day transfiguration. It's just too much.
Or it's like SWAT hips, and like you have to figure out what SWAT means. Yeah, right. No. It's very easy and understandable, right? And that's really what it has to come down to. And so in our world, it can be hard because we want to we have name recognition of the tools that we use. So I use a Tama microcurrent. So Tama wants you to be use Tama, use our name. Listen, people don't know they don't know it, right? They might not even know what microcurrent is. So that is something to also understand. They're like, I want a facelift. I want my face to be less saggy. I want it to be high, right? So when you're naming something, you have to keep that in mind. You have to keep in mind that there are things that your brain and your vendors want you to do. And then there's things that actually are reality. So a lot of times when I will make names for my menu, I want to just be really clear about it being super obvious. So if you're this is a facelifting facial, or this is a, comfortable facelift, non-surgical facelift facial, somebody's that's me. That's what I want. And then in your description, you can put all your terms and words that you maybe want to do, because maybe nobody's going to ever read that. Right.
As someone who reads all the things, Definitely, I was going to say, lean into the benefits of it. Like you're saying, I don't know what TAMA is. I don't understand the difference between TAMA and hydrofacial, even though I do know that they're very, very different. So speak to the transformation. And we've talked about this all the time. What are the benefits and the transformation that your client wants, and tell them how this thing is going to help them get what they want.
Right. I also find with menus, especially when you're doing names, is like also think about what Alex just talked about essentially is a theme. She has a theme of amplification, right? And body. So for you, you might decide you want to go for a theme. What is kind of the theme of what you do? So if your menu is kind of like all over the place, you're like, I do, I do something that's like medical stuff, but I also do stuff that's very kind and caring. Can you find a way to make that mesh somehow and make that thematic for yourself so people don't come in and be like, you poke needles in me. And then also you massage my head. So what exactly do you do? Because it seems like all over. It's like when I go to a restaurant and they serve Italian food and Chinese dumplings. You're like, okay, well, these are both pastas. Like they technically are both, right? They're both pastas. So, I mean, I guess they're okay, but do I trust you to make them both well?
Okay, this is literally me. Last weekend, we went to an Argentine restaurant, and they were like, potato dumplings. I was like, oh, that sounds good. It was gnocchi. I didn't see that one coming. That was a surprise. It was delicious, but I mean, that's exactly your point.
Right. So you have to think about like, what is your theme thematically are you doing? Okay. And just be as clear as you possibly can. And also remember, I'm going to go back to it a million times. Your clients long-term, once they've been to you 1 to 2 times, they're going to be like, I don't come in and ask for, I don't even remember what facial you gave me. Just do what you want to do. I don't care. Can you just like give me the good facial? There's a reason why signature facial is on every person's menu. There's a reason. Because it's like the facial that people get. They're like, I just want whatever you love most, right? Chef's choice. Right? So, chef's choice. Customized corrective was on my menu for years because it was the facial that both customized and correct. Right? Customized corrective was on my menu for years. All right.
And that's definitely the clarity, right? Let the people know exactly what they're going to get, because they're coming in there with like, what are all these other big terms that I don't quite understand? Like, how can I get straight to the point of like, is this going to help me with my wrinkles and this and the darkness and all that stuff, Yeah.
And we've talked about it a couple of times on other episodes, but the reason why you kind of put in maybe like the words and the names you're using. So like, let's say you're like, I really want to put in hydrofacial. I want to put in vitamin C. I want to put in, Alex, what is something that if you were looking for facials, you'd be like, I want that.
Even just like moisture and like tired skin and dullness and, wrinkles. I'm always thinking about
wrinkles, right?
Yeah.
Words like that, right? Words like that will help when somebody is doing a search online. That's what they're going to pull up for your search engine optimization, right? That's they're on Yelp or something, and that's actually what's going to be pulled up. They're on Google. That's what they're going to get pulled up. My biggest one was best facial in Burbank. Gotten pulled all the time, right? Somebody reviewed me and said I was the best facial in Burbank, and I got reviewed by a article, best facial in Burbank, and it got pulled all the time. It wasn't actually that I did wrinkle facials. Nothing, right? Wrinkle facial is not the thing. So keep that in mind when you're kind of like creating that menu, that those things are important. All right. So the next thing I want to talk about is kind of how do you actually transition your menu over for people? All right. So Alex, for you, when you were kind of like creating your menu, did you have anybody who was already kind of, when you introduced them to something new, did you already have something that people were using, or are you just like, here's this new thing?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think, like when I changed up, like my membership, there were some people in there. So I just like brought them along with me.
And you're like now movement mavens.
Yeah. Here's what's changing. If you want to stay cool, here's, the new offer. If not, you're awesome. See you later.
Right.
and everybody pretty much stayed around. And then as I've introduced new things to test it out, I always test it with them. I open it to the public, but I run that experiment with them. They get to come into it, as included in their membership because they're already customers, which gives me a chance to like just go through the motions and like have bodies in the room while I do it. And then I'm trying to think, there's always like the membership always benefits because those are like, they're already your customers, they're already like super into it. I'm trying to think of like other things that I've launched that just like
they'll give you true feedback as well.
Yeah.
So if like something's not working, they'll be like, let me ask you questions, or like, I don't get what's going on. I don't know what this is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And they won't leave you because of it. They'll just ask you the questions where other people will be like, I slunk away.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of like other new stuff I've launched. This challenge is something new. I think just the most important thing I feel is to have conversations with your people so that you're creating what they actually want, not what you think that they want.
Exactly.
So like I literally texted a friend who is absolutely my ideal client and has, purchased products from me and worked with me in the past. I'm like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, would that be helpful for you? And, and just asking people even down to like what kind of words they're going to use. So I think the best thing you can do when changing your menu or doing anything new is don't stay up in your head creating it, but like talk to the people and find out what they want and make it for them.
Yeah. So I have a facial called the Nap Time Facial, and I created this Nap Time Facial. It's literally something I worked on for probably 2 years. And how it came to be was essentially I send out a survey to my clients every year saying, and ask the same kind of questions. And one of the questions is, I love Cybil and I love what she does, but I wish, and it's open-ended, right? I wish. Right. And, in your mind, you always think to yourself, they're going to be like, I wish she charged less money. I wish that blah, 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 all the crazy crap that goes on in your head. And the thing that I got over and over again was like, I wish I had more time with you. I wish I had more time in the bed. And this was a time when I had moved my services to kind of faster services, that more medical services, because this is what we were doing. It was a downturn in the economy and people were like, we need faster, cheaper, get them through the door. They don't have money. This is what we were being told. And so I moved people over to this kind of thing. And what my clients told me was like, no, that's not what they want. Right?
I'm writing it down so I can do it too.
Right? By the way, I have an amazing survey, Alex. So if you have things that you're being told by the industry, if you have things that you think that is going on in your mind that your crazy monkey brain is telling you, you don't actually know what's actually happening until you ask your clients. So when I was creating my new menu and I was getting ready to put down new facials, because I actually usually update my menu every 2 years. I put in whole new facials every 2 years. And when I say whole new, I mean, I just update them. They're probably not completely new.
Yeah.
But I update my entire menu every 2 years. And so I was like, well, what do my clients actually want? And I thought about it and what my clients actually say. And if you listen to your clients, whether they tell you or not, they're saying, I want more time. And when they're on the bed, if you think about what they actually say, every time you leave that room and you come back after they're masking and they say, I wish I could sleep here. I wish I could stay here forever. I wish I didn't have to go. Is it already over? I fell asleep. This is the best sleep I ever had. I wish I could be here forever. Right? The things I said over and over again, whether they actually said it in their survey or not, were actually the things that I was hearing that I needed to address. Right? And so I created a facial just for that. So that is the facial that I created. I learned about things that created that facial. What are you creating for your clients?
Yeah.
That is what you need to be thinking about for your menu. So instead of thinking, what new machine do I need to bring in? Think about what new thing can I be doing to solve a problem for my client?
Yeah.
And that is when I create menus.
Yeah. And we should be fully client centric in what we do. And sometimes it comes up from what they're talking about. Like in my membership, I have
hips.
What was that?
Like hips? You're creating hip things, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, Also, in my membership, I have like an inner circle. So once you've been a member for 4 years, you get invited to the inner circle where you get more of my time. We do like a group coaching. People come up, get more coaching. And someone had mentioned that they went to their physical therapist just to like have a check-in, like a tune-up, which is exactly the type of relationship I want to help them foster with their healthcare providers. And their physical therapist was able to spot something that they hadn't been catching. And I was like, whoa, I could totally do this, right? I could be looking at videos of them moving, and I could do it in the group setting so that they could learn how to look at videos of themselves moving. Because again, I'm trying to teach them how to be self-sufficient. Yeah. Right. So then I asked, hey, would it be helpful for you guys if I set this up so we could do something like this? Like, let me know. And they're like, yes, it would be. So I was like, cool. If you don't mind having your video looked at in front of the group, then here's a link to submit it. So that's one of the best things too of like being your own business, is being able to hear what people need and then adding up that service. And now that offer that you have for them is like even better because it's exactly what they asked for and it's exactly what they want.
Exactly. And Alex discovered that because she listened to what a person wanted and then asked a group, right? And this is when you're sitting in your head and thinking to yourself, I need to create this new thing. Sometimes you need to create a thing by asking other people. All right. So, and then then you can worry about naming it and freaking out about it and creating all the language for it, which it will break you a little bit. Okay. I'm straight up, guys.
So
okay.
True.
So introducing the new menu. All right. I've talked about this a few times as well. When I introduce a new menu, I am a firm believer that I generally change up everything on the menu, except for if I have like a core facial that is like I said, customized corrective stayed on my menu forever, right? Because people are like, oh, I always get the customized corrective. It's there. People don't like change to the degree that like it makes them scared. So it's always nice to keep like a few things the same. But generally, I change up all the prices. Everything changes. And the reason why I change all the names, whether it's the same facial or not, I change all the names because people cannot compare apples to oranges.
Right.
Right. So they can't be like, well, I used to pay $95 for my customized corrective and now it's like $190. Right. Well, that facial, and people are like, well, can I get that one facial? I'm afraid that doesn't exist anymore. It's now out of stock. Right. It's been discontinued. So sorry.
But not really, but sorry.
No, I'm so sorry. You can't get something if it's been discontinued at Starbucks. You can't get that item anymore.
Yeah,
so it's no longer available here, right? And that's just how it is. And so you have those conversations are much easier about prices going up, about your menu changing, and it's also exciting because people are like, "There's everything is new and different and fun," and like it doesn't matter if things are more expensive because they're different and fun and completely new.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and that energy too, you sell that energy. Like you got to show up with that energy for your clients to be on that energy train too.
Right. And I know for some people that in your mind, you'll think to yourself, this has to come, a whole menu change has to happen because I bring in a new product, a service, a machine, right? I changed up my menu every 2 years because my prices would go up every 2 years. Like clockwork, my prices went up every 2 years. They didn't often go up every year. They went up every 2 years for me. And they would go up significantly every 2 years. And so I would do it based on the idea that I brought in a new idea. So it wasn't always I'm bringing in a new tool. The idea would be, all right, guys, everybody gets an eye, neck, and lip treatment on every single service. Okay, guys, you know what? I truly believe that everyone should have nap time on every facial. Okay, I'm now implementing 90-minute treatments. That's happening. Okay, so sometimes it's an idea and not a thing. So think about that for your menus as well. Alex, have you ever had an experience like this?
Yeah, it's just like, I think it's like elevating the whole experience because you see where there's a need for everybody and then, adding that on to elevate the value.
Right. Instead of just being like, it's a thing, like I have to bring, because we get so tactile, like I'm not bringing in like a new tool or balls or something like that.
Right.
I'm changing the way you look at the world.
Yeah. Because even like my inner circle right now, it's open for everybody. It's free. It's like part of the membership. But my plan is absolutely to start charging for it.
Mm-hmm.
And, right now I'm just like, okay, what do they need? Like, let's keep testing and iterating.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I charge for it, it's going to be exactly what they need for where they are at that time.
Right.
But
Right.
like, I didn't go out and learn any new techniques or, send them new product or anything like that. It's just like, let me serve you with where you're at, with what you've actually asked for. What a novel idea.
Right, right. And that doesn't mean that you can't go out and be like, hey, I decided I was going to learn a new technique. I decided that I was going to re-up my education. Hey, I went on a vacation and I went to Hawaii and it reinvigorated me. And I decided that I love Hawaii and I'm going to bring some of that maloha into the world. Right. That's good enough, guys. It's good enough.
Yeah.
Just something like that, right? Something like that. We live in a world right now where we're doing immunity boosting. Bring in immunity boosting.
Yes. No, I was going to say, sorry, I just got transported. That was such a vivid description. I was like, God, I really miss Hawaii right now.
I know, me too. So something as easy as that creates a whole new menu and experience for people.
I mean, truthfully, like one of my most popular like bonuses and add-ons right now, and every time I talk about it, people are like, oh my God, please tell me when that comes out, is sleep. Because even though people are at home and they don't have anything else to do, they're sleeping like crap because we're all so freaking stressed out.
Nap time facial.
Yeah. As a side note, I just read, this is for all of you listening, that getting outside every day is the new 10,000 steps, that we need to like get out of our houses, away from artificial light and screens, and like be human in the natural world. Like you're not made to live inside all the time.
I would disagree. My body has been doing it for years now, but most people are not me, as Alex would say all the time. I'm an alien.
You're an alien. I mean, look, she's got purple hair, you guys. She's an alien.
I do not like outside. I've gotten out more than ever because I'm gardening now. It's horrifying. But gardening, it's terrible. I know.
Right, so we've talked about, the new menu and like either adding some stuff or kind of changing it up, adding a new experience to it as well. Let's talk a little bit more too about the introduction of it. Mm-hmm. So do you do like from one day to the next, like, oh, new menu now? Like, how do you roll it out and how do you let your people know?
Oh, for me, a rollout kind of looks like I kind of start talking it up. I usually talk it up not too far in advance because you scare people. Right. So I usually have conversations with people. So they come in for an appointment and when they're getting ready to leave, that time when they're checking out and you're just like, so, I just want to let you know that I am, and you're like secretive about it, guys. You're like, so I'm getting ready to roll out a whole new menu. I'm really excited about it. And it has like this one treatment that I think is great for you. And if you'd like to try it beforehand, anybody else, let me know and I'll get you on the books for it for next session. And I kind of roll it out to my like secret incentive people beforehand. That also gives you a chance to try it, right? So it's like Alex's inner circle people. Mm-hmm. And I get them on the books for it and I get them in at an introductory price, right? So I get them in at the regular price that they would. And it helps you also test out the new whatever facial you're doing because you have to like get into the swing of things, right? We all know that what we do is, it's a show. We have to get used to like going to pick up the product and putting it on and when do I wash my hands and all the things. Right. So, and then it lets them kind of experience that time. And you can also, when they finish, be like, and if you want to update your review about me, that'd be great. That'd be great. Right. And then I drop usually an email, which nobody reads, but I drop an email about it in the newsletter that this is going to be happening. And then I roll out the month before. So 30 days before, I let everybody know that the new menu is going to be rolling out. It's super exciting. And there's going to be new pricing on it. And I can't wait to have everybody come in and try it. And the month that it rolls out, I do a small promotion for it. Very small. I don't deep discount. Small promotion for it. That's it.
Yeah, and we've talked about like promotions too, of like instead of taking, giving a discount, of maybe adding on some
it's a value added usually. Value added. Yeah, usually value added. And I actually like to roll them out in my quiet season. So
Mhm.
like I like to do April and January. I like to roll out new menu items. And the reason why is because I tend to be quiet anyways in those seasons. So whatever quiet season is for you, I like to roll them out in quiet season because it gives me time to like be like, I'm messing up or like whatever. Also, it gives me something to be excited about. It gives people something to be excited about to come in to try. If they're going to leave me, they're going to leave me. It's going to be a hard month anyway. So I'm like, whatever, it's gravy, whatevs.
Yeah.
And if I want to do like package, because I've talked before that I do package deals where I will roll out something and I'll be like, you purchase this as a package, you come in for 3 of them, but you have to come in January, February, March,
Right.
November, December, January, right? You have to come in for those 3 months. It's not just some random months.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that way they can try out maybe 3 of the new services at a discount.
Right, right. And I like that kind of pre-sale of the package so that you continue to get the practice and they're invested and
Right.
you have their money up front.
Absolutely. And so that's something I like to do. And that's kind of how I roll out the new thing and get them excited, get them as excited as possible about the new thing and try to have them talk it up.
Yeah.
So if you can get them to update a review, one of the things I do is if they update a review or they have posted a review and they've never posted one before, it is one of the only times that I offer a deep discount. So I call it referring a stranger. So if you refer me a stranger, you get 50% off your next service.
Dang.
I do not discount really ever.
No. Yeah, that's really good.
You refer me a stranger though, 50% off a service.
Yeah. So I love too that your rollout is essentially what we do in the online marketing world as a launch, right? Yeah. There's the pre-hype phase where you're just talking to people about stuff, getting them excited, right? So as I'm launching this challenge, and those of you who follow me on social media, you're going to see I'm about a month out. I'm going to be talking all things hip related so that you have hips on the mind. So that when you're like, man, my hips feel tight, or this is helping, or I need some more help. And then the challenge is presented as a solution. You're like, oh my gosh, yeah, I need that thing. So I think one of the biggest mistakes that most people make when creating a new offer is that we create it in a silo. So we have no idea what our people actually want. And then we're just like, we have this new thing.
And then you throw it out and then you don't talk about it again.
Yeah. And then you never talk about it again. And like, you really do have to like hype this up. I mean, it's like the elf on the shelf is like the hype for Christmas, right? For like little kids. They spend the whole month like, oh my gosh, Christmas is coming. And like, we can do that same thing for our clients of like getting them excited about what's coming, what's in it for them, all the awesome things that are coming their way. Don't you want to be first? Maybe you even include like an early adopter kind of like extra thing, like, oh, you know, this new thing is coming and I'm going to add on this extra thing. So if you want to take advantage of that, let me know before Friday. Right. So another value add like that.
I like that. Alex. So this has been really, that whole thing has been very helpful to me because I always find like online rollouts incredibly hard, like confusing, right?
Same thing.
Right. But they are exactly the same thing. Also, the idea, one of the things that you have to do online is you have to like bother people, right? And estheticians are so much like about not bothering, right? We're like, I put this thing out there and like, I walk away because like, right? Because I don't want to like bother you because it's coming up over and over again. And one of the things I know that for me, I've had to do is be like, Cybil, you have to realize that 1 in every like 10 posts is actually seen, but for reals.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and people have to see it like multiple times before it even registers.
Right. So understand that 1 in like 10 posts are actually seen, and then probably they're not even noticing it and they're not going to remember it. So like, you just got to like bombard, and it can be the same thing over and over again. Like literally you can put up the same post and it can be the same post. Like every 3 days, it can be the same post again, guys. And Alex and I have talked about this and we're like, that's ridiculous, but it's so true.
It's true. Now I'm going to interrupt. I want to put the exact same post, but like, again, for this launch I'm preparing for, it's, you know, who is this for? That's like a post or a series of posts. What are you going to get? That's another post, a series of posts, maybe like side benefits you didn't even realize. So every time I think about, you know, estheticians and the work that you all do is like, you know, oh, being able to go makeup free or feeling confident in pictures, you know, stuff, things that aren't like an exact benefit, but like are a benefit and then, or things that people are, you know, thinking about. there's another post. So there's 3 times I'm talking about the thing without expressly saying like, go, come sign up, new things, buy my shit, like all like that, you know?
It is. And one of the things I think is helpful for me is if I imagine that the people that I'm talking to are actually just like a different client every time. So every time you make a post, guys, just imagine you're talking to a different client every time. So you have a 300 person roster. Every time you like are like, I'm putting up a post, I'm talking to a different person, different client every time.
Yeah. Also, oh my gosh, this is like getting all into launches. I'm getting excited. There's, speaking of like different clients, know that like there are people who like the real short, snappy, to the point, just give me the basics. Then there's like, oh, I want you to like caress me and tell me all the nice things. And then the like storyteller. So like you have to, or you don't have to, but it's more fun for you in creating. And then also for your client, because then they're going to see themselves in what you're presenting more readily if it has that variety.
Right. Exactly. It's funny because I think that most of my clients are like either like they like the stories, like the big long stories, right? Or they're like, can you just I have no time, thank you. Or they're the ones who want to be told that they have all the questions. They're the questioners, right? Like you, they're like the questioners.
Yes. Well, then you have an email of like frequently asked questions,
right? The questioners.
But wait, where is this facial? And then you can answer and say, instead of that, now we have this. And here's why it's going to be even better for you and what you need.
And by the way, your questioners are actually, by the way, your absolutely best customers, because they will poke the holes and ask you all the questions that you are not answering. So I actually, and if you are listening out there, you know who I'm talking about. So one of my very favorite esthetician friends, she, I think, had a lot of self-confidence problems because she, I think, had been told her whole life that she asked too many questions and she should essentially shut up. And I remember talking to her and being like, girl, I love when you ask me questions. You never ask me too many questions. And she asked me a million questions about everything. And I was just like, you ask all really amazing questions. Like, I appreciate every question you ask, because the person who asks the questions, people listen to them. They're probably really good questions.
They are. And exactly what you're saying too, is they show you where the holes are in your presentation. They're showing you what people are thinking. And so, yeah, absolutely. And that could be another way to talk about it, is like, hey, I've gotten a lot of questions about this. Or I just love that whole like influencer. A lot of you have been asking me about my morning routine. Right. But yeah, so answer questions.
The questioners are some of my favorite people out there. And I do think that they get poo-pooed a lot.
Yeah.
And they're questioners. If you're listening, we love you. Okay. Alex is a questioner, and that's why she's my friend, because I love that she'll be like, so I have some questions. Like, bring them on. I asked no questions. I don't care. I was just like, I made all the choices. It's done.
Oh dear. So many questions. So many questions.
All right. I think the last thing I really wanted to just touch on real quick is, after you've rolled out the menu, okay, and you realize that you've made horrible mistakes.
Oh no. It happens.
It totally happens, guys. It happens. Okay. You've made horrible mistakes. 1, don't freak out. Maybe you haven't. Give the menu a little bit of time. Okay. Yeah. Give the menu a little bit of time before you freak out and be like, everything's broken. It's all broken. Okay. Give the menu at least 3 months. Okay. There's a reason why I do 3-month packages. Give the menu 3 months, because people are going to bitch and moan and complain. And your numbers might go down a tiny bit, and certain things will go up and certain things will go down. Try not to freak out. Okay. And do run your numbers. All right. If things are really broken and you're like, nope, there's definitely some stuff on this menu that's just not working, revamp it. Go back to your people and be like, guys, guess what? So that didn't work. People hated it. I heard you. You are right. And just tell them they're right. People love to hear they're right. Yeah. You are right. You are right. So instead, we're doing this instead. We're trying this instead. I heard you. I heard everything you said. Thank you, questioners.
Yes. Well, and also this gives more weight to the whole kind of like pre-sell, pre-launch period when you're having conversations with people, because you can avoid a flopped launch by making sure that you are offering the people what they actually want.
Yeah.
So when you're having those conversations at the beginning, if people are like, no, I don't really need that, don't get stubborn and dig your heels in and be like, but this is what I want to do. I say this as someone who has done that on multiple occasions. Yeah,
we've done it, guys. We've done it. We're like, no, I know what you need. You don't.
You have no idea.
I know. Okay, guys, it doesn't matter what you want. It's what they want.
No.
Once again, your menu is about making you money. Okay? Which means it's there to service the people.
Yes. But yeah, so use that pre-launch time to like ask questions, make those tweaks, make those changes so that when you actually announce it officially, you have hopefully resolved any of the issues that might be there, whether it's from the messaging and the words and the descriptions, the timing of the facials, the length, like whatever your people want, like give the people what they want.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to touch on one thing I thought was going to be last. Do you need a physical menu? Because this is something I just thought about. Do you actually need a physical menu anymore? So I don't use physical menus. I haven't used them in forever. I would say if you have a clientele that is 50 and over, you might want to have a few actual physical ones. You probably don't need very many. There is something to be said for people who are of a certain generation. You can set them out and people like sit in your lobby and they like go through it, right? But in general, you have it on your website and that's it. Most people are never going to look at your menu.
No.
Right.
The benefit too of maybe like 10 in your lobby area is someone could take it and share it with someone.
Right. I mean, that's possible. I did have like a digital screen that had like, it was a picture frame that was a digital screen that cycled through and had a picture of my had like Canva pictures essentially of my menu, right, for my website.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you need a physical menu? I personally think it's a waste of paper, time, and money.
No, but I mean, maybe you put the PDF on your website. So like if someone really wanted to print it out, they could, but
yeah, I mean, but yeah. So I just want to make sure I was like, oh, I should touch on that. Cause like you used to print out, we had a day and age where you printed menus, but now, no. Do you even have business cards? When people give me business cards, I'm always like, what?
No, not really. Yeah. I mean, I do have podcast cards, but like I haven't seen strangers in over a year now. So what am I going to do with that?
I mean, I have my original box of cards from when I went into business 21 years ago.
Oh my God.
I have the original box of cards. And on the back of my cards is a thing for appointments for people to put their appointment down. Right. And I was like, when I run out of cards, I'm going to be out of business. So
here we are.
I still have them.
I want to pull out my card. I made, it was not a business card. It was like a podcast card when I did my yoga festival that I taught at. And that was a great idea and was super fun. And I have so many of them now. I don't know what to do with them.
Well, there you go. Well, guys, I'd love to see a picture of your card. Go ahead and put it up on Instagram and tag us at Skinfessional with a picture of your business card or your spa menu. I would love to see it and see what people actually do. You actually still have a business card?
Yes, we want to know. Tag us. You can also find Cybil at Your Skin Fitness Expert, and I am at Hala for Mala. Or you can leave us a voicemail about your menu and your menu problems and what's keeping you up at night about your menu into our box.
Yeah, in fact, just read me your menu. It'll be dreamy. It'll put us to sleep. God.
Read it, yeah. Like, and now we have the custom correct or the facial.
Okay. Vitamin C repair with massaging hands and thrusting thighs. All right. The box is 818. Our phone number, our Skinfessional box phone number is 818-473-5277. So guys, this has been great. Until next week.
Keep your secrets to yourself.
Unless you're telling us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.